grab a drink and have a seat. It's time for Drafty After Dark. With your hosts, Russell James and the Howling Wolf.
Happy fucking New Year.
Yay.
Welcome back to Drafty After Dark. This is episode 9. How you doing, Wolf?
It's the fucking year of Mad Dog, baby, 2020.
Hell yeah. Let's run to VP and get drunk for this episode. We'll be right back.
Yes. All right, back with
There's stuff and things and Trump.
Yeah. What'd you say to me?
Trump.
Huh?
What?
Dollar?
Dollars.
Dollar? How about a dollar?
Because
Because Mad Dog's like the official drink of the bums.
All right, we're going to sober up and we'll be right back. All right.
Yeah, turn that light off, dude. I ain't as young as I used to be.
Aw, hungover.
Boo.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to start off with, last episode we left off, we mentioned an article that was going around about Trump being eligible to run for a third term. We didn't have a lot of clarification on it, so I did a little bit more research.
It's fake news, folks. Fake news.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It's one of those it's one of those pieces that's being perpetuated to create more division.
I'm shocked. Well,
for
we're not
people to
divided
argue
enough.
over.
We obviously need to be more divided, obviously.
Yeah.
Half this country don't even fucking vote. Just keep that in mind, people.
Too close to rising up, so.
Oh my god. Oh fuck, every time the fucking voting number looks like it's gonna fucking rise, they're like, well, we need some voter ID laws. It's like, why? We all know it's fucking rigged. I'm sorry. And you can be like, oh, Russia rigged it. No, it's called gerrymandering. It's fucking rigged. Period. We all fucking know it.
Yeah.
It's not hard to piece the fucking puzzles together.
Yeah, so a couple interesting things happened while we were on break. We also apologize that we didn't announce our break. The holidays get a little rough.
I prefer to refer to them as Christmas
I mean, there's
and
like
New Year's
multiple in there,
and
but
Boxing Day
yeah. Okay.
and Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Hanukkah.
No, Hanukkah was before.
Oh, okay.
Hanukkah was like the first or second week of December. We worked through Hanukkah.
Yeah.
I remember being
It's
pissed about
just
it.
all around the same time.
Yeah.
So you can kind of assume we're going to try to get you as much content as we can while we roll through any holiday weeks. But there is definitely going to be a little staggering in our step when it comes to holidays. If you want to help us out, you can get on Patreon, and there is more content on there. So if you're looking to hear more from us, hop on Patreon.
Yep.
Sign up for one of those tiers.
Boop. Just click that button, buddy. We know you got Christmas money to spend.
Yeah. Get on there, sign up. We got some stuff up right now.
You never notice they never call it holiday money. It's always
They don't.
Christmas money.
Why isn't it
I don't
holiday
know.
money?
I don't know.
More on Christmas.
I didn't even look at Starbucks' cup this year. I always usually look at that and then either defend it or completely just go against it because there's obviously a war on Christmas. We all know it. So go out, buy a bunch of shit. Otherwise, they win.
Yeah, let's not let them win. So 2 big things happened over Christmas.
Your article. You never did clarify. You said you did some clarification.
Oh, yes, clarification on the third term thing.
Yes.
So Trump is not eligible to run for a third term just because he's been under impeachment. The only stipulation that I could find that would allow a president to retain office, what? A vice president.
Well, if you're vice president and then you become president, you can still run for 2 more terms, I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
yes. So that's the thing.
Yeah.
That
was the only stipulation I knew.
Yeah, that's the stipulation. And then if we are in a World War type situation, that's how that works. The president can retain power. It's never happened before.
Well, it's because we haven't been in a world war. We're just intervening. We're
Yeah.
in interventions. We're in 17 different or sorry, I shouldn't say 17. We're in like 8 different interventions, but it's not a war, folks.
Yeah, so the only real stipulation I could find that would allow a president to retain power, so there's the vice president loophole, and then also if we're in a world war, then a president can have another sitting term that is not voted for. So it's different. It's just them retaining power essentially.
Is that when they suspend, or don't they have to be a martial law for that?
I don't think we have to be in martial law as much as like it just has
a state of an emergency.
Yeah,
like
state
it would
of
have
an
to
emergency.
be something.
It's like a state of an emergency brought on by war, essentially.
Not interventions. Don't get those.
Yeah,
confused.
not interventions. Those are two different things.
Yes.
So I wanted to clarify that because I didn't want it to come off as if we were perpetuating the third term as much as it's just a thing that's out there.
I just want everybody to know we're not in 8 different wars. We're in 8 different interventions, and we obviously have to be there. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. We have
obviously.
to. World police.
There's no reason not oil.
America.
Yeah.
Fuck
yeah.
So the smoking age was raised from 18 to 21.
So, you know what else just went up in smoke? Your fucking liberty. Keep that in mind.
Right.
While they're fucking repealing and replacing this shit with something terrific. And what's funny is the fucking Republicans are supposed to be about smaller government. And yet they want to tell you how to live your lives. I'll suck your fucking dick. This ain't the fucking Reagan administration all over again. Just saying.
Yeah, so the bill was passed on December 20th. And it was passed with the idea that, so people were told, it's not in the bill itself, people were told, companies were told that it would take effect sometime in the following 90 days. 6 days later, the federal government came out and said tomorrow, the following day, would be a federal crime to sell anyone under 21 cigarettes.
See, I don't know how they can
6
make
days.
that. I don't know how they can make that a federal crime. It's supposed to be left up to the states.
It's supposed to be.
They would have to amend the fucking Constitution. That's what they did with alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And they had to amend it back.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. What type of money are they waving in front of them? Because that's the reason you have fucking rows and a drinking age.
Right.
So it'd have to be some fucking pay-for-play shit like that, to where they're holding them at fucking ransom of sorts.
Yeah. And it's just another form of prohibition, essentially. I mean, we're changing the age, but this
is Big Brother telling you what to do and saying, we want you to have choice on your fucking health care because fuck you, you have to pay for it, but we're going to tell you how to live your fucking life. Just like the fucking Reagan administration. We're going to fucking, we want to get government off your backs, but we're going to tell you what magazines you can fucking read. We're going to tell you about this fucking war on drugs that we're going to lock half the fucking country up for. We're going to build all these fucking prisons and privatize them so we don't have to fucking worry about it. Keep the fucking number up high enough so we have to have it full, and then fucking give you some bullshit 3-strike rule on non-fucking, I guess the 3-strike rule didn't come in until Clinton fucking had that. My bad. I'm sorry. I forgot which one we were talking about here. But he's pretty much rolling back the fucking hits from the 80s and the 90s. That's all this is a fucking goddamn mixtape from the fucking past fucking 20 goddamn years. What happens? A fucking tragedy happens. It's obviously fucking video games.
Yeah.
Shoots down TPP, then fucking keeps the fucking best part, or the worst part of TPP, and his fucking new North America, or what was it, the fucking US, Canada, fucking Mexican agreement or some shit, is pretty much NAFTA 2.0. After NAFTA was the worst fucking trade deal in the fucking world, changes 3 fucking things, and all of a sudden, it's the best fucking trade deal ever, and then immediately slaps tariffs on the fucking Chinese. Yeah, that's a great fucking idea, while keeping interest rates artificially fucking low in the federal government, or the Federal Reserve, I mean. Yeah, that's another great fucking idea. Why?
Okay,
the entire time, the entire time on the campaign trail, the entire time on the campaign trail, he correctly went after Obama's administration for keeping the interest rates artificially low and bailing out all these fucking companies and giving all these subsidies and fucking keeping all these companies afloat when they should have just let the open market fucking have its day. He takes fucking power and does the same fucking bullshit that fucking Obama did, keeps the same low-paying jobs that Obama had, and he correctly fucking called it when he was running on the fucking campaign trail about the fucking unemployment number is way fucking higher than you think, because if you stop looking for a job after a year, then it doesn't fucking count against the unemployment number. Then, as soon as he gets office, oh, well, I'm going by the same numbers Obama went by because they look better. Well, no shit, they look better. God, it annoys me. You're losing your liberty, period. I don't give a shit what you call it. You can call it prohibition, you can call it Big Brother, you can call it whatever the fuck you want, but you're losing your fucking liberty, period. I want you to keep that in mind as we go on.
So, the smoking age was raised to 21.
Pisses me off. Don't worry, you still have to register for the fucking military in case they bring back the draft at the age of 18. You keep that in mind.
Yeah, because you can serve your country at 18.
And vote for now.
So I think this creates an interesting situation at work, at when you're at work. Because before at work, most jobs, large percentage of jobs are 18 plus.
Yeah.
So if someone came out and borrowed a cigarette, it didn't matter. You knew they were 18, so you're not committing any crimes. So now there's no job that requires you to be 21 other than like bartending or things that have to do with alcohol.
Yeah.
So now you've put a large percentage of jobs where it's super easy to just break that law on accident. Like someone comes out, you don't know how old they are, they ask for a cigarette, you give them a cigarette, and now you've committed a crime on the property in which you work for.
I'll solve this problem real fucking quick. Tell them to fuck off, buy their own smokes. Problem solved.
Yeah, and that's the best advice that you're gonna have to give to anyone in those positions or that end up in those positions. It just creates this new interesting conflict that we didn't have before.
It's not new, and it's not fucking interesting. It's bullshit and more fucking Big Brother bullshit. It's not new and it's not interesting. It's 1984. It's fucking coming to pass. All these fucking great fucking books that nobody wants to talk about are coming to fucking pass.
Right.
Period. That's all there is to it. Nobody wants to admit it, but it's all fucking true.
Right.
Now this whole thing is about fucking control. You keep that in mind. And I want to know how the fuck they're going to enforce this shit. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard of. You catch a 19-year-old smoking or a 20-year-old fucking smoking, you're just going to walk up, card and be like, oh, well, you're not fucking 20 or you're not 21. They're going to haul you off to jail and jack you around. This is so fucking
That's exactly
stupid.
What they're going to do.
This is the dumbest fucking shit I've ever heard in my fucking life. I'm serious. This is stupid as fucking hell.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's stupid. So all it's doing is creating more issues for everyone. If people want to smoke, let them smoke. Like, it was 18. There was no reason for you to make it 21. None. There's no plausible reason, because just like anything else, literally anything else, if 18-year-olds want to smoke, they're going to figure out how to smoke.
I want to know how the fuck they can legalize weed in multiple fucking states and yet the federal's like, oh, we're going to raise the fucking smoking age. What's to stop these states from saying, fuck you, we'll keep it at the same age?
None of them have.
Exactly. What's stopping them?
I don't know.
I'm just asking.
Yeah.
This is fucking bullshit and ridiculous.
So, speaking of marijuana, Illinois legalized marijuana, and that took effect on the 1st. And their first day of sales, which was on the 2nd, New Year's Day was when it took effect, but stores opened on the 2nd. And on the 2nd of January, they made $3.2 million on the first day of legalization.
Revenue or tax revenue?
All right, so here is the article by Fox Business.
Oh boy.
Recreational
You want to talk about fucking fair and balanced? I give you fucking Fox Business. Stuart Varney has 11 grandkids, god damn it, and he shouldn't be fucking taxed on his fucking $15 million a year fucking job any more than anybody on minimum wage. You keep that in mind.
All right. Recreational pot sales hit 3.2 million on first day after legalization. Illinois saw an influx of green, nearly 3.2 million, in fact, on the state's first day of legal sales of recreational marijuana. Dozens of dispensaries in the land of Lincoln handled approximately 77,000 transactions on Wednesday, marking a monumental milestone for the state. Oh, so this is January 1st. So, marking a monumental milestone for the state, Toy Hutchinson, senior advisor to Governor J.B. Pritzker on cannabis control, said in a Thursday news conference. Illinois is the 11th state to legalize recreational marijuana for people 21 and older. By comparison, neighboring Michigan, which did so starting December 1st, generated 3.1 million in the first 2 weeks of sales. Day one sales in Colorado, the first state to legalize marijuana for adult recreational use, were over 1 million on January 1st, 2014. So Illinois in one day did 3.2 million. Michigan across 2 weeks did 3.1 million, and Colorado on its first day did 1 million, slightly over 1 million.
Now, here's an interesting fact. Illinois is the 6th biggest state in the union right now.
Okay.
At least now, and this is population, not landmass. Neither Michigan nor Colorado have as big of a population as as Illinois. I mean,
Yep.
Now, not that long ago, they were the 5th biggest state. They were surpassed by Pennsylvania because a lot of people were moving out of Illinois because the crime was so high, the cops couldn't protect them, and the taxes were too high, and the jobs left. So they left.
Yeah. This
is a fucking stint to keep people in their state and to bring people back to their state. That's exactly what this is. So, just in case you know, all you fucking people, by the way, Fox Business didn't tell you that part. It's funny how they call themselves Fox Business, but yet they don't think like it. So, they don't tell you that part, but it goes back to the same bullshit that they fucking said, 4 years ago. We need a businessman to run this shit. That's what they got in Illinois, apparently, a businessman. Yeah, we'll let people fucking do what they want, and then maybe they'll just won't fucking leave.
Yeah.
I bet the crime went down, too.
I would imagine, because now you have people going
can
to
legally
a legally
smoke weed?
safe place.
I bet the crime will
to get their
fucking go up,
marijuana.
though, because all those 19-year-old smokers. Oh, yeah, that's a fucking real threat to society.
Sarcasm. So
No, that's not sarcasm. I bet crime will go up due to all the 19 and 20-year-old smokers. My bad.
Oh, because of the cigarette smokers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is a crime now.
Yeah.
So
maybe the crime will go up.
Some of the Illinois revenue is earmarked for neighborhood development grants under the law, and low-level marijuana convictions will be expunged. Pritzker granted more than 11,000 such pardons on Tuesday.
And these are people who should have never been in fucking jail to begin with.
Yep. Also increasing their active participants in society.
Oh, imagine that. It's easier to get a job without an arrest thing on your fucking record. Imagine that.
The amazing thing about that is that there's a significant portion of these dollars that go directly into the Community Reinvestment Fund, so we can continue to rebuild communities that have been hardest hit by the war on drugs.
Yeah, the
Hutchinson
slums
said.
that they fucking started mowing down years ago and kicking people out of their fucking houses.
Cells are
That's
great.
the communities they're talking about.
Cells are great, but let's never lose sight of the impact that we're having on families around this state. By 2022, sales in Illinois are projected to generate $250 million for the state, according to earlier estimates.
Unless the federal government comes out and makes the fucking marijuana smoking age 30 or some stupid shit.
We are moving towards phase 2 of our plan to grow the industry, added Hutchinson. This is really close to my heart because I am one of the moms that drafted this, and I feel very, very deeply committed to expanding opportunities for those most impacted by the war on drugs. Recreational marijuana users were delighted by the developments, with customers showing up at dispensaries in droves and some lining up outside hours before they even opened.
Can you buy it on Sunday?
I don't know.
I'm just curious. I mean, fuck, we have the fucking Fed puts one fucking arcane law in the fucking book. I was curious if they would keep a fucking bullshit fucking arcane fucking part of their law, like, I don't know, daylight savings time. That's the most archaic shit in the fucking world. That should have been gone with the guillotine as far as I'm concerned.
While Illinois already allowed medical marijuana, its new law permits anyone 21 or older to possess up to 30 grams of cannabis flower and up to 5 grams of cannabis concentrate. When they crafted the measure, state lawmakers said they wanted to repair some of the damage caused by law enforcement's decades-long efforts to combat the sale and use of the drug, particularly in minority communities. End of article. So that's a win for Illinois.
Yeah, that's a start, but it's still it's still not federally legal, which is bullshit. It
Right.
should be federally legal, period.
The
And the fucking smoking age should be at fucking 16, not 18.
18 was fine because 18 is when
No, that's
everyone
what you
is
were
considered
indoctrinated to believe.
Well, that's when people start being considered an adult.
Well,
That's when.
I think it should be 16. You know why?
Why?
Actually, I say you fucking I say you lower it all the way fucking down.
Just
Get rid of the fucking
age
smoking
requirement.
age. Well, think of it like this. You smoke. Only 13-year-olds smoke, idiot. You're 16. Grow the fuck up.
That
serious.
might be the response.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt. Well, as soon as you make it fucking legal across the board, nobody's gonna fucking do it because nobody's gonna give a shit. They're like, oh, I can fucking do it. Oh, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like buying lottery tickets. I don't buy lottery tickets. I can legally buy lottery tickets.
Right.
Just saying. And it doesn't. And the law doesn't even affect me. Neither one of those laws affect me, and
Right.
it pisses me off.
Next, change in the market as far as on-demand movies go. Apple lowers its 4K movie sale to $5. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Most of which were previously $10.
To get you in the door. China, wink, wink.
This article is brought to you by 9to5Mac.
Thank you, 9to5Mac.
So Apple wrote an article about their price change.
Well, yeah, because it's 9to5Mac. I wonder if those deals are only available from 9to5.
Apple's rolling into the weekend with a fresh movie sale. This time
boy.
focused on $5 4K titles at all-time low prices. You typically pay $10 for many of these listings, with some going as far as $20, each of which will become a permanent part of your library. So 4K films on sale for $5 this weekend or this past weekend, depending on when you're listening to this. Ad Astra, Darkest Hour, Unforgiven, Moonlight, The Hangover, The Disaster Artist, Room, Julia and Julia, La La Land. Other notable $5 deals are Lost in Translation, American Beauty, Aviator, Lady Bird, The Truman Show, Man on the Moon, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Longest Yard, Babel, Chicago, and Dreamgirls.
Pretty much anything you got on Netflix, you can now pay for twice. That's what I heard.
Yeah. So I think this is partially to combat streaming services, and then
This ain't combating shit.
no,
Like-
it's not actually combating anything, but the
This
idea
ain't-
of it.
No, the idea of it's fucking old and arcane. Okay, so
It's the $5 movie basket for on-demand
you like to
movies.
suck Apple's dick. Do you have a Apple fucking video library?
No, I do not have an Apple Video Library.
Are you considering getting one now?
No, I am not,
Oh, well,
because I don't buy movies.
You don't buy movies?
I'm not really.
You just watch it on Netflix, Hulu,
Yeah,
whatever.
I like to find stuff on streaming services that I can watch for something I already pay for.
I know, it's a beautiful thing, right?
Right. But this is now, Apple is now officially the lowest place to purchase on-demand movies, at $5 a movie to permanently add it to your library.
Oh boy.
So we'll see what happens next, as I'm pretty sure Amazon Prime is the number one place to purchase your movies. Or movies anywhere, because that connects to a lot of stuff.
Now, see, I've heard of movies anywhere, and here's the thing. Here's what I think Apple's trying to pull here. Because I see this in the PC market, which is why I'm an old man, so I buy DVDs, not Blu-rays, DVDs, like the $3 used. Those
$3
type-
bin.
Yes. $3 bin at your local thrift shop. If it's the $5 bin, it's usually at your local truck stop. But just to give you an idea of where I get my DVDs from. Now, the thing is in the PC market, they tried this too. And it was the whole Epic Store versus Steam. And for those of you who are PC gamers, I apologize for this next part. For those of you who are not PC gamers, Steam is for years been the primary I don't want to say monopoly, but yeah, monopoly, the Amazon of anything PC gaming.
Right.
Epic comes along and decides they want to challenge him. Well, everybody's invested in Steam, so they're like, well, I like my Steam library and Steam this and Steam that. So what Epic started doing was every month they give away a free game. Well, that didn't work, so they do 2 games a month. Well, that didn't work, so then they do like a game a week. It's so ridiculous. They got more money than God at this point. It's really outstanding. I love it. So they're doing this to try to get people to their storefront, which I believe is the same reason Apple's trying to do it, or same reason Apple's going down the same route, because they're trying to get people in their store. You said the number one is Amazon or movies.
Movies Anywhere.
Movies Anywhere, which I've heard of both of them. I didn't know Apple had its own movie thing. I mean, I assume they did. I just don't have an iPhone or an iPad or an i this or an i that, so I don't give a fuck. So they're doing it to entice you to move on there. Now, the thing is, though, is keep this in mind. If their servers go down, which is, on any platform, then do you have your movie or don't you? Because
if their server goes down?
If their server goes down, then what?
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, so
I think the movie's downloaded. So, or I don't know if it's because some of them you download the movie and then the movie's on your thing.
Is there any DRM though?
That I don't know.
See, now here's the thing. So for PC gamers, again, I apologize. So there was a game called Tron Evolution. Came out like 9 years ago or something, like 2010 or some dumb shit.
Yeah, and this is like Disney Tron.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it came out. They had secure ROM on there for the DRM, the Digital Rights Manager or whatever. Disney didn't renew the subscription to secure ROM, and now your game is unplayable. You bought it. You bought it 9 years ago or 8 years ago or 7 years or whatever.
And now it's fucked.
You have the disc. You cannot play it. What's wrong with this picture? And what's to stop them from doing that with movies? And another argument a lot of people in the industry, at least the game industry, have been making is you don't own the game. You own the rights to play the game. So you don't own the movie. You own the rights to watch the movie. You got to keep an eye on this shit. And for those of you who are like, oh, that's never going to fucking happen. That's never going to fucking happen. Bullshit.
Well, no, I mean, if you remember back when the Xbox was releasing with Kinect, there was when it was first
Xbox
starting
One?
to release. Yeah, so the Kinect was going to come out and it was going to register how many faces were in the room watching a thing with you. So, and if you were only allowed so many people to watch a thing with you.
I remember,
and they were trying to do that. Like that's already been a thing that they were trying to do.
I remember when it had to the Xbox itself had to fucking call home once every 24 hours. Like you had to have a constant internet connection.
Yeah.
Now, keep this in mind, folks. If you were like, well, maybe the good people at Xbox just realized that was a bad idea and said no. Bullshit. The people at Sony said, yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
If PlayStation would have said, yeah, we're going to follow suit, your Xbox would have to call home once every 24 hours now.
Yeah.
And so would your PlayStation. But because Sony said, yeah, that sounds pretty stupid, we're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Then that's the only reason. Now, you wind it back again to the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3. When the PS3 came out, they're like, we're not doing backwards compatibility past, a certain point. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And the 360 came out and they're like, yeah, we're going to do backwards compatibility. Why wouldn't we?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, you got keep this in mind.
That's why competition is healthy.
Well, that's why crony capitalism is essentially killing us. That's why a pair of eyeglasses costs a fucking $200 because the whole thing is a monopoly. That's why diamonds cost $1 bazillion, which is ridiculous. And
so I just found out the other day there's a website you can go to. There's a couple different websites you can go to get cheap glasses.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You just give them your prescription, and it's much cheaper to get the glasses online than it is to go to your doctor and get them.
Good. Beautiful thing with the internet.
Probably.
Is it 25% more expensive than normal? The joke is the tariffs on Chinese goods are 25%.
Okay. Maybe. I know one of them is from a Chinese company.
Oh.
So, but that's, millennials ordering those is...
Well, I mean, they're the ones destroying everything. You just keep
Yeah.
that in mind. Oh, well, millennials are also responsible for this, so let's keep this in mind, too.
All right. Before we talk about millennials and their responsibilities, let's talk about the UN Human Development Report for 2019.
Which, if you watch any leftist YouTuber, you've already heard about. If you haven't, you're going to hear about.
So,
Because I think my conservative friends should hear about this, too.
every year, near the end of the year, the UN releases a report. It's called the Human Development Report. They usually announce what the report's going to be about in March and April, and then they release the report in December. The name of the report is To Answer Global Protest, Tackle New Inequalities. I'm not... Okay. They need someone else to name their articles. So, 2019 Human Development Report says business as usual will not solve new generation of inequalities. Pagoda?
Yeah, I couldn't pronounce it either.
All right, something I probably can't pronounce. I think is said Bogota, Colombia. The demonstrations sweeping across the world today signal that, despite unprecedented progress against poverty, hunger, and disease, many societies are not working as they should. The connecting thread, argues a new report from the United Nations Development Program, is inequality. Different triggers are bringing people onto the streets. The cost of a train ticket, the price of petrol, demands of political freedoms, the pursuit of fairness and justice. This is the new face of inequality, and as this Human Development Report sets out, inequality is not beyond solutions, says the UNDP Administrator Akeem Steiner. The 2019 Human Development Report entitled, this is the name of the report, here we go. The 2019 Human Development Report entitled Beyond Income, Beyond Averages, Beyond Today, Inequalities in Human Development in the 21st Century, says that, just as the gap in basic living standards is narrowing for millions of people, the necessities to thrive have evolved. A new generation of inequalities is opening up around education and around technology and climate change. Two seismic shifts that, unchecked, could trigger a new great divergence in society of the kind not seen since the Industrial Revolution, according to the report. In countries with very high human development, for example, subscriptions to fixed broadband are growing 15 times faster, and the proportion of adults with education beyond that of school is growing more than 6 times faster than in countries with low human development. So essentially what that paragraph says is...
that everybody's learning shit on their own and not wasting a bunch of money on college?
Yes, in high areas of human development. So in countries with high high human development.
Think of anything you know right now. How much shit did you fucking Google or just look up?
Yeah, I mean, most of it's I've taught myself since...
Yeah, well, me and the
haven't
internet.
Been to school since 16, so...
Yeah.
Well, I was not sure I did some college.
Oh.
But...
worked out for you, huh?
Not really.
Yeah.
Here I am.
That's my case.
What used to be nice to haves, like going to university or access to broadband, are increasingly important for success, but left only with the basics, people find the rungs knocked out of their ladder to the future, argues UNDP's Pedro, director of the HDR office, which pioneers a more holistic way to measure countries' progress beyond economic growth alone. The report analyzes inequality in 3 steps: beyond income, beyond averages, and beyond today. But the problem of inequality is not beyond solutions. It says proposing a battery of policy options to tackle it. Thinking beyond income, the 2019 Human Development Index and its sister index, the 2019 Inequality Adjusted Human Development Index, set out that the unequal distribution of education, health, and living standards stemmed countries' progress. By these measures, 20% of human development progress was lost through inequalities in 2018. The report, therefore, recommends policies that look at, but also go beyond income, including early childhood and lifelong investment. Inequality begins even before birth and can accumulate, amplify by differences in health and education into adulthood. For example, Children in professional families in the United States are exposed to 3 times as many words as children in families receiving welfare benefits, with a knock-on effect on test scores later on in life. That explains why I only know 4/5 of the words in this article.
I bet you know, fuck, this bill's due when? I bet you know that sentence pretty fucking well.
Know that sentence real well. Policies to address it, therefore, must also state at or before birth, including investing in young children's learning, health, and nutrition. Productivity, such investments must continue through a person's life when they are earning in the labor market and after. Countries with a more productive workforce tend to have a lower concentration of wealth at the top, for example, enabled by policies that support stronger unions, set the right minimum wage, create a path from the informal to the formal economy, invest in social protection, and attract women to the workplace.
And Medicare for all.
Medicare for all.
I'm just saying.
Policies
Was
to
that
enhance...
in the report?
I don't know yet.
Oh,
Policies
probably wasn't.
to enhance
Because
productivity.
we're the only fucking industrialized fucking country who says you have to go buy your own fucking health insurance and fuck you if you're broke.
Yep. Policies to enhance productivity alone are not enough. However, the growing market power of employers is linked to a declining income share for workers. Antitrust and other policies are key to address the imbalances of market power.
And not enforced.
Yep. Public spending and fair taxation. The report argues that taxation cannot be looked at on its own, but it should be part of a system of policies including public spending on health, education, and alternatives to a carbon-intensive lifestyle.
And, of course, obviously, the fucking military-industrial complex. Can't leave that out.
More and more domestic policies are framed by global corporate tax discussions, highlighting the importance of new principles for international taxation to help ensure fair play. Avoid a race to the bottom in corporate tax rates, especially as digitization brings new forms of value to the economy, and to detect and deter tax evasion. Looking beyond averages. Averages often hide what is really going on in society, says the HDR. And while they can be helpful in telling a larger story, much more detailed information is needed to create policies to tackle inequality effectively. This is true in tackling the multiple dimensions of poverty, in meeting the needs of those being left furthest behind, such as people with disabilities, and in promoting gender equality and empowerment. For an example, gender equality. Based on current trends, it will take 202 years to close the gender gap in economic opportunity alone, cites the report. While the silence on abuse is breaking, the glass ceiling for women to progress is not. Instead, it is a story of bias and backlash. For example, at the very time when progress is meant to be accelerating to reach the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, the report's 2019 Gender Inequality Index says progress actually is slowing.
You know why it's slowing, right?
Why?
Because they're not giving women a hand up, they're fucking shoving the men down.
Right.
That's exactly what's happening. They're like, well, you know, that's how they solved the fucking, the pay gap. Women make, 80 cents on the dollar to what the male counterpart makes. They didn't pay the women more, they paid the men less.
Yeah.
Widening the income inequality.
A new social norms index in the report says that in half of the countries assessed, gender bias has grown in recent years. About 50% of people across 77 countries said that they thought men make better political leaders than women, while more than 40% felt that men made better business executives. Therefore, policies that address underlying biases, social norms, and power structures are key. For example, policies to balance the distribution of care, particularly for children, are crucial, says the report, given that much of the difference is in earning between men and women throughout their life cycles generated before the age of 40.
I want to make just one quick comment on the gender equality shit. Just one really quick thing. I see a lot of this problem in maybe the older generation, the newer generation, the millennials. It seems like they're more focused on policy. And to give you an example, to sit there and say that, okay, you got 2 speakers of the House. Well, who does better, Nancy Pelosi or fucking Paul Ryan? One's a man, one's a woman.
Yeah, who does better?
it doesn't matter. They're on opposite ends of the aisle.
Right.
So you're only going to say political lines.
Yeah.
That's my point. It has nothing to do with, the are you a Democrat? Yeah, well then Pelosi does better. You're a Republican? Yeah, well then Paul Ryan does better. It has nothing to do with the gender.
Yeah, that doesn't. But I mean,
Well, they said political leaders. They would be a political leader. The Speaker of the House is like what, the third, highest person in this country?
yeah.
And just in case you were curious on where I got my number from, in the U.S. it goes president, vice president, and if the president, resigns and the vice president resigns, it goes to the Speaker of the House. That's how they're the third most powerful. Just wanted to lay that out.
Yeah, that's good information. So I mean, I think something that we need to see companies offer is childcare. Like, it should be an amenity of employment.
No.
Why?
I will heavily disagree with you on this, and I'll explain my reasonings. The reason they need to get away from this childcare shit is because we need to start looking at the family themselves. We need to stop with this fucking bullshit. It doesn't work. And I'm not saying
what doesn't work.
The whole fucking you can have it all. It doesn't fucking work. Either the man is a fucking stay-at-home husband or the wife is a stay-at-home wife. I don't give a shit which one it is. It has to be that way because
it can't be that way. The economy literally can't support it.
The economy works for us. We don't work for the economy. Let's keep that real straight real quick. We don't work for the markets. The markets are designed to work for us. But the problem is we're in the mentality that we're supposed to work for the markets and work for the economy, and that's just wrong. That's bullshit. That's why people are so pissed off.
You can't support a family anymore on one person working.
Yes, and it's obviously the fucking, we need childcare. No, we need parents at home raising their kid the way they want their kid raised. That's something that's taken a very, very heavily oversight in this country. And that's what's tearing us apart. And I mean, you're right. In today's economy, you can't. So we're talking about changing all this shit. Why don't we change the economy? Why don't we change the way we look at the economy?
But you're also assuming that, like, so your statement assumes that everyone is still a family. Like, you have more people in the U.S. who aren't a family and have kids, or you have more single parents than you've had before.
I wonder how much of that problem is poverty driven.
I don't know that it's poverty driven as much as it's just like became a social norm because we got away from.
So because it's a social norm, it's okay?
I mean, I think divorce is okay.
Look,
I think being a single parent is okay.
The thing is, we live in a society that has taken away from the family. You're supposed to invest all your time in your career, and everything else comes second. And I think that's wrong. That's all I'm simply saying.
I would agree with that.
That's all I'm simply saying.
Yeah, like, your career shouldn't be the number one thing in your life.
But
I mean,
everything you're programmed to believe, it's supposed to come first, and it shouldn't, and that's wrong. And I think that's mainly, more than anything, is what's deteriorating society. Now, I'm not trying to sound like a male chauvinist pig. You can call me one all you want. I'm just saying, it seemed like in the fucking 50s, shit seemed to be a little better. And from what I've heard from older people, not saying they're wrong or right about everything, I'm saying from older people I've heard that it seemed like when you had one parent watching the kids and paying attention to what the kids are doing, it seemed like their kids grew up better, and it seemed like everything was a little easier to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. Like, the family values have deteriorated in our country.
Yeah,
and
it's not wrong.
But it's not necessarily wrong, though. Like, I mean, people want what they want, and they should be able to have what they want when they want it.
You're right. They should. They should be able to have a cigarette at 18.
Yeah.
So it's okay to do that. That's perfectly okay. We tell you when you can fucking smoke. We tell you when you can fucking drink. Now we're going to tell you that you're not going to have family values. I love it.
Yeah,
I love the hypocrisy.
So when you have a single parent, so like, you're talking about family, but the reality is that, like, not everyone is a part of a family. There are thousands, millions of single parents in our country that have to figure out childcare and a way to work.
Yeah. And that's because it's the social norm. And I know a lot of people, especially coming up in the millennial generation, that aren't having kids.
Yeah, because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Like, because childcare is half your paycheck every week.
I was reading a thing the other day that said that everybody from the next generation are going to be Republicans because Democrats don't have kids. I'm like, bullshit. Most single moms I know are Democrats.
Yeah.
So
I think if we seen companies start to offer some sort of childcare, then you're going to add something to the employment idea. You're going to add an amenity to employment where it's easier for people to maintain their lives in those jobs. And then also, they can pop down to the daycare and visit their kid on breaks and lunch and, see their kid in that at daycare if your company's offering it. I think that would help out a lot of people.
So who's going to pay for it?
The company.
The company? The company's not going to do that. They're going to hire less people. Have you not heard the minimum wage argument? Just apply that argument to this.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying, like, companies need to step up and take on responsibilities of helping society.
Oh,
like,
they're not going to do that.
I mean, they're probably not.
Fuck
but
no, come on now.
You have some. There are some out there, but one thing that could help that situation in particular. Let's go to the planning beyond today. So back to the report.
Hold on. I want to finish with my my reverse.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say, for the sake of argument, that we kept the family together. Okay? One stays at home with the kid, one goes out and works.
Okay.
The fucking job market just got cut in half. Companies are going to be like, fuck, we need people. We need to hire fucking people. Oh, shit, now I guess we got to pay a fucking living wage.
Yeah. But you can't force
do that
society
with that
into that standard.
And you're right, you can't. And you can't force companies to pay for fucking childcare.
I don't think we will ever see a return to the American family.
Oh, we won't. There's no way in hell.
Yeah.
No, it'll never happen. No, I agree with you wholeheartedly on that one.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's pretty... I also don't think that we'll see a return to family values. Now, just because, you have kids or don't have kids or single parent, not single parent, I'm not judging. I'm just simply saying what I observe. Now, the thing is, a lot of people would say, well, that's just the old Christian. Oh, that's the old Christian belief. Whatever. I don't think that you have to have God to have morals. I think that you can be a moral human being and be an atheist. I've met a million of them.
I believe that too.
So I'm not looking at this as, from a Christian point of view. I'm looking at this through a humanist point of view. It just seemed like we had a lot less problems in society when the family was more, one unit. Now, at the same time, we also didn't have a lot of other social norms that we have now that you can agree or disagree with, but it's still there. And, a lot of women, it seemed like if you go look for these articles, they're everywhere. But it seems like a lot of women who were promised they could have it all pretty much dated around in their 20s. And then when they hit 30 or 40 or 50, they're still alone. They have no kids. And they're like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And if you just Google anything like that, you will find 15 fucking articles about women who wind up like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Just because it's a social norm doesn't mean it's working out for everybody. And as far as averages go and judging the market, you can't judge the market by the fucking goddamn stock market.
Yeah, but I mean, you have that same predicament with men too, who men get older and they didn't marry, and then they get older and then they can't find anyone to marry. Like that. I mean, that's the standard that's across the board. And then you have the same thing
but
with
it's a societal norm.
Yeah, I'm saying it's across the board.
It doesn't make it right though.
I mean, the idea that we've been pitched that we need to find someone and cultivate a life with that person specifically, and that's how life is supposed to go, though, is also bullshit.
It's only bullshit if kids are involved or not, because that's what we're talking about. We're talking about childcare. Now, if you're perfectly
no, you're
fine
talking
being
about
alone,
you're talking about a return to family values when family values were forced. Previous years, when family values were forced down your throat and your entire goal in life was to find someone else to be with and have kids with them.
No,
and,
I'm saying if you have
family.
kids, you should return to you should have family values. That's the thing of having kids, family values. If you don't have
Mhm.
kids and you want to be single your whole life, and that's fine. Now, finding a sob story for that happening to a man is going to be a little harder to find. I'm sure they're out there, but sob stories on women being like that, they're a dime a dozen. They're out there everywhere.
They're-
Look, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to fucking sound misogynistic, but
I know you're not, but
it is what it is.
You're pointing out a group of
difference.
people.
I'll tell you another difference. You know, women are better at looking at details and men are better at looking at the overall picture.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Does that make men and women unequal?
No, there's a
Or
lot
they're
of
just
difference
better
between
at
the two of
different
them.
shit, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They're better at different shit. And also varies from person to person. Like my fucking who do you want Speaker of the fucking House. Has nothing to do with man or woman. It's all in what party line you're on.
Right, and I get what you're saying.
I just don't. I hate it when people play identity politics. Well, I like this person because they're a fucking woman. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
Right.
Or I like this person because they're not a woman. That doesn't make any fucking sense either.
Yeah, so I mean, I get what you're saying. Either way, you're going to find these stories where, you know, people have waited their whole lives to find someone. But back then, that was a picture. That was the American dream, like being forced down your throat and you being told that, you know, this is what it's supposed to be like. When I don't think we should be told at all what it's supposed to be like.
Well, we're still getting forced that down our throat now. It's just nobody's buying it.
Yeah,
Because it's all
everyone
based
said
in
fuck
bullshit.
that. Yeah.
Well, yeah, you're reading the article that's saying that, yeah, it's fucking impossible to be that way anymore.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. So let's go to planning beyond today. Looking beyond today, the report asks how inequality may change in future. Looking particularly at 2 seismic shifts that will shape life up to the 22nd century. The climate crisis, as a range of global protests demonstrate, policies crucial to tackling the climate crisis, like putting a price on carbon, can be mismanaged, increasing perceived and actual inequalities for the less well-off, who spend more of their income on energy-intensive goods and services than the richer neighborhoods.
Tariffs.
If revenue from carbon pricing are recycled to benefit taxpayers as part of the broader social policy package, the authors argue, then such policies could reduce rather than increase inequality.
I think they're missing the most important people.
Who?
The shareholders.
The shareholders don't give a fuck.
No, they want their money. And
Yeah,
if
that's
they
all they
don't
give
get
a
their
fuck
fucking
about.
money, then I mean, that's what who everybody's worried about is their fucking shareholders.
So I think this is I think this is interesting because it's basically saying that, you know, it's not arguing against carbon tax. And
it's what to do with the money.
It's saying that we need policy that dictates where that money goes. And I think that would be a good standard to have, and it would decrease the inequality. So,
Well, okay, so there was a story I read about a year ago about, I think it was a mayor. It's a mayor in some town in Texas, Republican mayor, I might add,
yeah.
turned his entire town into fucking windmills.
Mm-hmm.
A Republican mayor who's like, yeah, let's check out this clean energy thing. Let's give it a shot.
I'm voting for him when he runs for president.
And the best part was he was in an interview or whatever, and he's like, a lot of people didn't like it, or there's some people didn't like it. I'm like, let's just see if your utility bill goes down. If I can get your utility bill go down, it'll all work itself out.
Mhm.
And he was right.
Yeah.
Huh. Imagine when we're looking to a Republican mayor from fucking Texas on how to lead the world in clean energy.
All right, so the other seismic shift that will shape up to the 22nd century. Technological transformation. Technology, including in the form of renewables and energy efficiency, digital finance, and digital health solutions, offers a glimpse of how the future of inequality may break from the past. If opportunities can be seized quickly and shared broadly, there is historical precedence for technological revolutions to carve deep, persistent inequalities. The Industrial Revolution not only opened up the great divergence between industrialized countries and those who depended on primary commodities, it also launched production pathways that culminated in the climate crisis. The change that is coming goes beyond climate, says the report, but a new great divergence driven by artificial intelligence and digital technologies is not inevitable. The HDR recommends social protection policies that would, for example, ensure fair compensation for crowd work, investment in lifelong learning to help workers adjust or change to new occupations, and international consensus on how to tax digital activities, all part of building a new, secure, and stable digital economy as a force for convergence, not divergence, in human development. In conclusion, this Human Development Report sets out how systemic inequalities are deeply damaging our society and why, said Steiner. Inequality is not just about how much someone earns compared to their neighbor, it is about the unequal distribution of wealth and power, the entrenched social and political norms that are bringing people onto the streets today, and the triggers that will do so in the future unless something changes. Recognizing the real face of inequality is a first step. What happens next is a choice that each leader must make.
I like to place a small wager on what's going to happen in the U.S.
I'm not a bookie, but what's your wager?
Well, I'm going to say, and I ain't 120% sure this is how it's going to happen, but I am 100% sure. You're going to keep your low-wage, dead-end lives. It's about it.
Yeah, maybe.
That's
We'll
it.
see what happens.
You're not getting shit. I think that was a quote by NPR who covered this article.
Yeah. I mean, I think the UN's onto something.
It's pretty sad the UN has to tell us that we're fucked. You know, I believe Martin Luther King said something very similar in the 60s, you know, when he was still breathing.
Yeah.
Because he wanted he wanted the fucking, you know, he's known for talking about fucking black rights, but at the end of the day, he was talking about fucking rights for everybody. The poor Americans, the middle class Americans.
Yeah, he's seen the inequality coming. I mean, it was already there.
No, it was already there at that point.
Yeah, it was already there, but he's seen the gap widening.
Well, yeah, he knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And then you never heard from him again. Then he was like, oh, yeah, black rights leader. They never talk about how he was talking about representing the poor.
Yeah.
Oh, something else, too. Just while we're talking about shit we've seen coming in the 60s. John F. Kennedy was a huge fan of Medicare for All. Huge fan.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, every other industrialized nation is doing it, and they've been doing it for like 30 years. We need to start this shit.
Yeah.
And that was last you heard of Kennedy.
Huh. Some interesting parallels there between the two.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's not breaking news, but it is. There's a lot you can look up as far as the parallels between Kennedy and Martin Luther King and their outcome. So.
Oh, the outcome was the same. They pretty much said, hey, we need to help the fucking poor, and hey, society just couldn't handle that.
Yeah. I highly suggest going and reading this. This particular article that I read you can find on undp.org, which is the United Nations Development Program website. The report itself is much lengthier, which you can dive into and you can actually download. There's a nice little video that looks like goes with it.
And if you're an American citizen, you might as well, because I'm pretty sure the U.S. funds like 70% of the UN, so you paid for it.
There are a lot of videos that go with the report. So.
Oh, yeah. Like I said, a lot of people on the left have covered it. To my friends on the right, I don't know if you've heard about it, so I want to make sure to bring this up so you can, because whether you sit left or right on any political view, I bet this applies to you.
Yeah, this is important. This is important shit.
This really knows no party lines.
Basically,
there's broke on both sides.
The UN is trying to do the thing that they do, which is unite nations under the idea that we need new policies that will create equality across the board of some sort for all people.
I think they want to close the gap between income and equality. And it's funny too, because I was watching some other shit, and I happened to catch an old episode of Last Week Tonight, and Barack Obama was actually saying that income inequality was going to be the biggest problem in this country for this generation.
Yeah.
And if you guys missed him saying that, that's because he said it like once, and then the media started talking about fucking class warfare, and then he immediately had to drop it.
And honestly, I mean, one way that we as consumers can help is shop locally. Go to your mom and pop shops.
If you have them in your community.
Yeah, if you have them. Like,
if you have them.
Shop as little as possible at these larger stores. Like, we as millennials have been getting blamed for
Everything.
All kinds of things.
It's all our fault.
Yeah, and it's not our fault. It's the fucking market's fault. Like,
well, we're going by the free market, right? It's all about free market capitalism, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they say, right?
Should be.
I mean, it sounds like the free market capitalists need to pick themselves up by their bootstraps and get the shit together.
Yeah.
Because the millennials are obviously putting a hindering on the diamond business, because anybody gives a fuck about that. That wasn't a big scam to begin with. Apparently. There was a list I seen. I shit you not. There was like a list of like 70 things that the millennials ruined, and I didn't think we had been around this long. But apparently a millennial is anybody who was born from like 1980, or it depends on what you're looking at. I've seen anywhere from like 1980 to 1984.
Yeah, so one thing I'll clarify is that the generational thing is just another way for the media to divide us amongst groups.
Hands fucking down. And the boomers jump on this like white on rice.
Yeah.
So,
and it's the generational thing. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Like, it's stupid. Like, there's no reason to...
Aren't you a millennial? Are you trying to ruin the fucking the generational gap?
Yeah.
You need to stop that.
Yeah. No, it's stupid.
Fucking
it's not even
over
something that we should consider anymore.
Millennials over here trying to ruin everything. I mean, we've already ruined beer and golf. Heaven for fucking bid. We don't have golf courses in this fucking country.
Fuck golf.
No shit, right?
And if you play golf, fuck you.
Carlin was a big fan of getting rid of all the golf courses. He had a joke about it. I don't think it was a joke. I think it was a legitimate political stance.
If Carlin hated golf, I hate golf.
Well, he said we need to build some of these fucking low income housing or houses for the homeless on golf courses. They take up in too much room. They're in high class neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
So that everybody can get moved into the community a little better.
Yeah, I mean,
that
doesn't even sound like a bad idea.
It wasn't.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, and then he was talking about building them on cemeteries too. I seen Poltergeist. I'll roll the dice with your house, not mine, of course, but yours.
How much of this millennial thing did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about how if you're a millennial, I want you to know that you've ruined everything, and I hope you're happy with yourself. But don't worry, it's not like we were granted a great system to begin with. We're living in the biggest income inequality gap in history. Somehow it's our fault, of course, because everything's our fault. We're also the generation with the most mental illnesses. I think half of them are made up. We're also the generation that has no family values, which I went over that earlier. Why we can't have family values because the economy won't let us, or the market won't let us, or whatever fucking bullshit. And what's funny is something changes that's not in our favor. We're told change is good. It's all good. Second, we want to change something that's not in their favor. Well, you guys just need to slow down there. It's been like this for I'm so sick. And what pisses me off is these people are talking about both sides of their fucking mouth. These same fucking people that are like, oh, millennials are ruining the fucking diamond business. Oh, you need to pick yourself up by your bootstraps. These are the same type of fucking people who tell you to go to fucking college, get an assload in fucking debt, and then get pissed off when you don't take some fucking minimum wage fucking job, and yet turn around and tell you that, oh, well, you're too good to take a minimum wage job. What the hell's wrong with you? You need experience. I'm serious.
Yeah.
This whole thing is bullshit. These are the same people who told you, don't take anything you read on the internet seriously, who gets all their news from Facebook. These motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, ruin it all. Doesn't matter. It wasn't that great to begin with.
Yeah.
Tell them free and fair market. Like
Yeah,
they
let's
would
do
know
it.
anything about that. They've been crony capitalists most of their fucking lives anyway.
Yeah. Let's put our money back into the community. Let's as much as we can spend that money to, on people that are fuck it. I don't know.
Yeah, let's put as much of our money back into the community. You know who's a big fan of that? Andrew Yang. Democratic runner Andrew Yang. Sorry, I don't feel like I've talked about him enough, so I'm going to talk about him because he was in the news about not being all for the Medicare for all, which he says he said he was, and now he's taken a sidestep to it. So he's still my favorite candidate just because he thinks we should legalize all drugs and believes in UBI. And here's another thing. I just want to go over this real quick. He believes in UBI. Everybody gets $1,000 a month. He doesn't believe that the minimum wage should be $15 though. So I did some numbers.
Okay.
I did some numbers. If you don't pay taxes on the $1,000 a month, so you get $1,000 a month, plus if you have a minimum wage job and assuming you work 40 hours, you would make like $1,900. I think it was $1,928. If you did no UBI and raised the minimum wage to $15 and took 20% for taxes, you would make $1,928. Like there was like literally an $8 difference between raising the minimum wage to $15 an hour versus $1,000 a month. Now these are based on 40-hour weeks with taxing 20% on the wage, not the $1,000, and this does not include overtime.
So do you only get the $1,000 if you work the minimum wage job, or is it $1,000 for
$1,000 for everybody?
Oh.
See, the reason I like that is because everybody fucking gets it. Now, you could even wind back and look at Republicans like Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman was a big fan of universal basic income.
Mhm.
Nixon, it actually got brought up during the Nixon administration about universal basic income. The Democrats wouldn't let him pass it because the wage was too low. Milton Friedman was a big fan of it because he wanted to get rid of the welfare state. Now, when you're saying, what do you mean? Doesn't that encourage the welfare state? No, Milton Friedman was saying that we should have a universal basic income where everybody gets the same, period.
Yeah.
You don't get any more for this, that, or the other thing. It's just the same across the board.
Yeah.
With Yang's thing, you still keep all your other shit. You just get an extra $1,000 a month. Personally, I think that everybody should just get the 1,000 and be done with it. That's my personal opinion. But I digress. I'll take what I can get.
So who pays for the 1,000?
He was talking about these companies like Amazon
Mm-hmm.
have been sucking up all these local jobs, like you were just talking about supporting your community.
Yeah.
So he was going to had like a 30% value added tax that was going to be tagged on large corporations, and then it would hand it down to essentially everybody would get their $1,000, and then everybody would be able to start businesses or hire employees for their business and then buy locally. So we'd have a trickle up economy instead of a trickle down economy. Because if there's one thing we've learned in both the Reagan administrations and the Trump administration is Reaganomics doesn't work. Art Laffer was wrong. Period. Yeah. Great idea for not America.
Yeah. All right. So trickle up community. Or economy.
And he was he's a big fan of investing in the individual. Like he's the only Democratic candidate I've heard of so far that says maybe everybody doesn't need college. Maybe a trade school would be okay. Maybe if everybody just learned a trade or whatever, it'd probably be okay.
Hell yeah, trade is okay.
So there's a lot of shit I agree with him on. Now, as far as the health care plan, personally, I think Tulsi Gabbard's got the best. But I like Bernie's too. But I think Tulsi has the best because Tulsi has the difference between the healthcare plans is I think Yang's is like maybe a step above like Biden's. Like Biden wants to fucking go through and try to fucking fix the Affordable Care Act, which it's just there's no fucking help in that. That thing's just junk.
Right.
And Yang wants to move us towards a universal like healthcare system, which moving towards and doing it are two different things. One can take years, one can take, 6 days with our Congress. So Sanders wants Medicare for all across the board and be done with it. Tulsi Gabbard wants, if you have insurance, you can keep it if you want, but insurance or no insurance, you still have health care through the government.
Okay.
And I think that's I think her outlook is the best because it catches all those people who are like, well, I want to keep my insurance because they keep quoting, well, the unions fought hard to get these great insurance rates. And they talk to the union reps and the union reps are like, yeah, we would like we would like Medicare for all. We're heavily in favor of it.
Yeah.
And then the politicians go out there, these unions fought for these great insurance. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? Oh, I'm telling you, if you're not watching the Democratic debates, right, or the Democratic shit, you should definitely stop watching American Idol or whatever or fucking The Masked Singer, whatever dumbass singing show you're watching. You should definitely check this shit out. It's fucking gold. Oh my gosh. This shit's so fucking hilarious. I don't even watch it for political reason. I watch it for entertainment.
Yeah.
Because it's funny to me to sit there and be like, oh no, it's unions should be able to keep their insurance. And unions are like, yeah, we'll be fine with that. Helps the worker.
Right. All right. Well, that's going to be the show today. I'm going to do some quick plugs real quick.
Quick plugs, baby. Quick
you
plugs.
You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at DraftyQ, YouTube, Drafty Quarters Podcast Network, Facebook, go like our Drafty Quarters Productions page, become a patron on Patreon at Drafty Quarters Productions. We got a $1 tier, which you get some vaulted content, $5 tier, which you're going to get monthly releases through, and then $10 tier, you get new weekly releases. Currently, we got Gospel of Winchester going on, and that is going up under our $10 tier. That is where me, Shane, and Nathan, and various guests sit down and discuss Supernatural 2 episodes at a time as we progress through the whole series. So start now, and you can keep up. If you want to email us, you can reach us at draftyq@gmail.com. Email me and Wolf if there's something specific you want to hear us talk about.
I was pretty worked up about the smoking age, and it's not.
Yeah, you were.
Oh, I'm still kind of pissed off about it because our liberty is being taken away. So it's not.
Yeah.
It's not that I say yes, smoke, or no, don't smoke. I think it's your decision because it's your life, and at the end of the day, you're the one that's gonna have to live with the consequences.
Yep. Nice little wrap, which we'll keep talking about forever if we don't cut it now. So we hope you've enjoyed your drink, and have a good night.